Here we go. False Shepherd here. I really do love clocks. It's my thing. All right. So I was touching on topics earlier about stuff that's going on in the media and stuff like that with censorship and stuff like that going on. So let's talk some censorship ideas and what's going on with censorship. So I have always been against censorship. I don't believe in anything that being censored because different point of views will always help you understand somebody else's point of view. If you never really test your core values or what you believe in, you're never going to know or learn or grow from what other people teach you. So that's one of my biggest problems is people want to censor stuff, and I never knew why. I raised two girls on my own. I have another daughter, so lives with her mom. But my teenage girls, I never censored anything they watched or seen or read or anything like that because I just don't believe in it. Because a lot of times my daughters will come up to me and ask me about, hey, well, what does this mean? Why was this made? For instance, one of my kids read Mein Kampf from Adolf Hitler. Another kid read, what else is another, the Communist Manifesto and stuff like that. And it was really interesting reading that. My kid actually, I did the same thing too when I was younger, reading about just the difference in how things are different and different beliefs and different structures of beliefs. And it was pretty awesome that my kid did that. So what the censorship I'm talking about, the Dr. Seuss thing, I think that's ridiculous. And it's funny how society looks for another culprit to blame for things and to blame somebody else for something that's going on in society. It really fucking sucks. But hey, that's what people do. They blame somebody else. No one takes any responsibility for anything anymore. And that's just what we become as a society. So, sorry, I get my drink on. It sucks. Not to mention now I'm hearing scuttlebutt about Speedy Gonzalez. I'm Hispanic. I come from a very diverse Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever. My mom's from Mexico. Speedy Gonzalez doesn't bug me. I think it's pretty hilarious back in the 50s and 60s that somebody actually mimicked us, and it wasn't a Spanish dude or a Mexican dude doing it. It was a white dude that played the accent pretty well and made fun of us. I see no problem in that. Now, the argument is that that's bad for us. It's bad. It's a bad tone. Well, no, it doesn't. I don't really care. What really sets a bad tone is when a certain party thinks they can take advantage of my people because we're stupid and then we're loyal. That's another thing too about Hispanics. Hispanics are very loyal to any kind of like, for instance, Fords, Chevy. Hispanics are very loyal to a certain label. Once you win an Hispanic over, they'll do that shit all the time. I'm the same way. Even my parts guy. Love my parts guy. Spend a lot of money on him. I probably put like all his kids through college already, but he's in Covina. Sometimes I get hooked up. Sometimes I get a good deal, but hey, it's the Hispanic in me. You want to freaking, you get with someone, you trust somebody, and you start buying from them, and then you become a lifelong customer with them. That's the same thing with with this. But that's why the DNC back. If you actually read the what WikiLeaks published about it, that's that we're trying to win the Hispanic vote, because that's a very big vote that the Democrats or any party really in general needs, because there's so many of us. So that's what I don't like. I don't like when people try to take us for fools and play us for stupid, especially when they're hurting us more than anything. So if somebody's going to make some racist slur about me being Hispanic or some lazy Mexican and stuff like that, I don't care. That's just that goes back into censorship. And if you hear these harsh things and you see these harsh things and you experiment and you see how really racist the world is, and when people tell you that kind of dumb shit, you don't really care about it. It's like, okay, can it be dangerous? Of course, anything can be dangerous. But in the same note, how dangerous it's going to be now these days. Living in America now, all you hear about is the race thing. And I hate going back to that subject because it's such a deep root subject in our culture now. Everything is race related. Everything is just race, race, race. And it's weird. I understand where the African American or the black folks are coming from, where the Hispanic folks are coming from. Hispanics don't really get into it. They don't really like this Latinx thing. The fuck is Latinx mean? If someone were to call me Latinx, I find that offensive. I am Hispanic, Latino, fucking American, Paisa, whatever you want to call me. I don't really care. It's just something that you're calling me for. It doesn't offend me. And I understand a lot of people don't think like the same way as I do, and that's fine. That's what makes this country great. But don't be calling me Latinx. You're taking away from our Hispanic heritage. And yeah, Hispanic heritage is very, very, very sexist based, female roles, women rules. That's just how it is, and I kind of like that. And I really wish no one would, especially when some white person thinks that they can freaking dictate to me what I should be called. I want to be called a fucking. Well, I'm fat enough to be a walrus. Maybe I will go by a walrus now. You know what I mean? So it's really disconcerting just where people's mindsets are, and especially with race and censorship and trying to censor somebody from talking to speaking. You should never see books. I actually found this book in Amazon today, and I was thrilled to get it. And for instance, censorship. One of those fucking books was there, and it was actually the book written by the SS officer that ran the death camp in Auschwitz. And I looked everywhere for it, and there was one in Amazon. The book was $3, but the shipping was $23. God knows where the hell that thing's coming from. But I've read Eichmann in Israel. I've read freaking the Zimbardo's. I love this book, The Lucifer Effect, and just how bad human beings really are. And I'm a firm believer in that. I think the worst thing God ever made was us. And it's just amazing that I took so long to find that book, and for what? It was literally written by the dude that ran that camp. And the reason why I wanted to read it was I wanted to see the mindset. It's always nice to know the mindset of somebody that hates you or dislikes you and why they dislike you. That way you can pick through that argument and see why they hate you. So that's why I'm very against censorship. Dumbo, for instance, my favorite scene in Dumbo was when the Black Crow started freaking singing. Obviously, they're African American, but they're Black folks' voices. And at the time, I didn't care as a kid, and still to this, I find it hilarious. But other people might find it offensive. But in the same note, you can't play those two cards. Like, for instance, there's plenty of stuff making fun of white people and stuff like that. And no one bats an eye for it because right now, society has deemed it okay to make fun of white folks, and that's you're just doing reverse. You're just doing more racism with extra steps. So I never got that, why people freaking think it's okay and why they should just, I don't know. My point is you shouldn't censorship things. You really shouldn't. If it's just a lot of regimes have done it and it ended up horribly. History always repeats itself, and you can see the Nazis did a lot of censorship with burning of books and stuff like that, and that was horrible. What about the original King Kong? King Kong's really weird because if you really look at it from an archetype type, you can actually say King Kong is actually the fact that this was from Robin Caskets with bringing this up. King Kong was basically, I've heard from some historians, it was the fear of Black Americans coming into America more in the 1920s and 1910s, and it scared people. It scared the average white individual. Where I kind of see that, I kind of get Kong because how everything's kind of goes into each other. Like one of my favorite movies of all time, Metropolis. But I don't know. I kind of buy and I kind of don't. I really never really got really into it. I thought about it, but I never really argued with anybody to go against me or go against that. So I don't know. But yeah, King Kong's a really good example of that. So you got King Kong. So my point is censorship, bad idea. Don't do it. Don't allow it. I know some people like to, not protect, but shadow people from certain things. Hold on. I'm going to take a drink and I'm going to fix my wood stove. I live up in the mountains and we don't have a heater. So this wood stove is blowing hot air in my house. BRB. Check. All right. So going on from censorship, the Federal Reserve, and a lot of people. First of all, the Federal Reserve is not a federal entity at all. The Federal Reserve is this entity. It's like the Bank of England. It's like Britain. Everything's England or Britain. They change their name from time to time. The Federal Reserve is the one that puts interest rates out, and it dictates what us peasants are going to pay for interest rates and what we can loan, what we can be loaned, and what happens with our economy. To me, it's a fucking racket. I've seen memes about capitalism. This is not a capitalist society. We are not capitalists. If we were capitalists, there wouldn't be any freaking government freaking Overwatch trying to tell you how and what you can't do and how to spend and how to take that. A lot of people think the Federal Reserve is this. It's not a federal entity. Before the Federal Reserve, money was backed up by the U.S. Treasury and they were precious metals. So when he had a dollar, it would say freaking good for silver as a certificate for silver. That's the money I like. But the point of reading the Federal Reserve is that the interest rates are low right now. And the reason that they're low right now is because, yet again, the federal government has borrowed so much money, way, 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 way more than it can pay. And the federal government knows it. And it knows that it's a shit story. It's a shit show. So in order for us to keep the Federal Reserve will keep the interest rates low. So the federal government can pay back what is needed, what we have borrowed. So if the interest rates raise substantially, then the government has to pay back that interest, which it's not going to do so. So if you're in the market for a home or trying to fix your credit and get loaned, now is the time, because I'm telling you right now, the interest rates will stay very low, probably past the pandemic, just so, because once the interest rates go back to normal, this country's going to tank, because now the government's got to pay that back. So that's another thing why the Fed's been lowering interest rates, because it just can't pay back this money. And that goes into the next topic. That goes, no more Bacardi. No, I'm drinking Walker now. Thanks, Cepeda. Well, it goes into my next thing is, so all these good old $1.9 trillion this and $1 trillion that. And this is the second year in a row that the federal government has spent way more than it makes and brings in. They did it with the Trump administration. Don't think I'm going to give the conservatives a freaking free freaking shot and free without busting their chops. But yeah, they're fucking up too, especially with China. But we'll get into that next. But the problem right now with these bailouts is deficit in it. So there's been 3 packets that have been approved by Congress, each of them probably around $1.9 trillion and stuff like that. So that goes back to who's going to pay for that stuff. Well, it's going to be your kids, maybe my generation. So you have all these bailouts going in. I call them bailouts. And the reason for it is that they're not really giving it to the freaking American people. You're actually, most of that money, for instance, the second one, a lot of it went to the military industrial complex. It went to how the military freaking spending the money. And that just sucks. That's just really bad in itself, because we really, as Tupac said, you have money for freaking to start wars, but you got no money to feed the poor or the homeless. Can't remember that song, but yeah, that's where we're at basically, and it's more acceptably socially for us to spend money in the military. I love the military. I've been doing it for 19 years. I just wish that we weren't used as much as we are, and there was actually peacetime, and that's another. So, oh man, I'm coming to all kinds of topics now. I'll write that down. It's peacetime. So you have just all these people it's just amazing, and just a lot of this money went to, some of it went to small business, but it went to other things as well, rent protection for people. And I understand people who rent, and there's people who own. I own houses. I want to get paid. So I understand people's situations are freaking really bad, and I can't evict them because of the rent what's going on in California. So when I lose my house, what happens? Like, no one's thought about this stuff. The federal government really wanted to help us peasants out. They should have freaking did loan forgiveness, because they're already in bed with a big bank. How much more money they want to make. So in closing, the Federal Reserve will continue to lower those interest rates. The federal government will continue to spend so much money. I'm saying that the third year probably is going to be under the Biden administration. Actually, technically right now, according to what I've read, the Biden administration has spent less than Trump. However, you're not adding the $1.9 trillion that just came into effect now. And that's going to pull it over from Trump. But yes, spending money it's a bipartisan thing. Only thing bipartisan about this country. Republicans now are fiscally conservative, and they weren't during the Trump administration. It's all bullshit, smokes, and fucking mirrors. So that's the problem with it. So you receiving your $1,400 check soon. The stimulus is the dumbest thing ever. Yet again, the American people are paying for stuff that we shouldn't be paying for. It's ridiculous, and to see what we do, and that no one bats an eye, or no one cares about it. So the next issue is, because of all the politics going on, is war, and just what's going on in the United States and your foreign policy. Yet again, I don't want to be dead horse dead. You're currently living under what's called the Bush Doctrine. This was established with Bush, and it was established with the global war on terror, and it was basically America will find their enemies, execute a mission, take care of their enemies. You're living in the Bush Doctrine. The Bush Doctrine's been around since 2003. The Obama administration used it, which Obama had a very weak foreign policy. Another reason why I hate that man. There was the whole troop surge in Afghanistan. There was the whole Syria thing. There was the whole freaking good old freaking ousting of Gaddafi, which broke my heart. And it's just madness that goes on with the Bush Doctrine. So now you fast forward it. You know, to put in perspective, you have the Afghan War. There's George Bush. Then it was good old Obama, Trump. Now you're in Biden. Now these two right here are basically having the same foreign policy in their stance in Afghanistan and how they're going to deal with it and how they're not dealing with it and what they're going to. Yeah, so you know right there, as soon as he was elected, I knew that there was no leaving Afghanistan after that. I was pretty impressed that Trump wanted to pull out of Afghanistan, but yet again, you know, everybody says America's been at war ever since freaking basically World War II, and no one cares about it. And that's what's really frustrating. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you realize that we're spending trillions upon trillions of dollars to beat our freaking peer-to-peer rivals, which would be Russia or China. And for what? The cost of what? The cost of just, you know, everybody's all, you know what I hate? The thing I hate about being a vet, everybody's pro-vet, everybody's pro-this, you know, veterans, we got to give them respect. And yeah, and the vet community sucks. A lot of it does, because a lot of vets out there are freaking just, you're in the clouds. They wouldn't be broken, but that's a mental health issue. So I'm not really going to get into that. But the fact that you sent us over there, you keep sending us over there, you know, you keep on doing it. And what do you expect? The armed forces are getting worn down about it. And you deploy them over and over again to these areas, the global war on terrorism, and it's just like, what's really the outcome? And it seems like it's the stalemate, as was predicted by good old Dick Cheney during the first Bush administration. And the reason why they didn't push all the way up for freaking all the way up to Iraq was because they knew it was a quagmire. That's why they stopped in Kuwait. And now we're in this quagmire and stuff like that. And yes, Robin Caskets is right. We haven't declared war since World War II. And a matter of fact, the funny Women's Month, right? I'm going to hate on the ladies real quick. There was one senator that voted completely no on the declaration of war in World War II. You know who that was? I'll give you guys a minute. Female senator. Oh, I already killed it. Only and first female senator at the time. Rankin. Rankin was the only one. She was a pacifist and voted no for the war with the Japanese. The more you know, the more you know. So, hey, kudos Women's Month. It should be a man's month. It should be a white person's month. It should be a freaking dolphin month. You know, you got to be fair, man. You got to go, if you're going to do that kind of crap, you got to go all around. So that's where we're at with that whole entire freaking China and our foreign policy. I am a big advocate in freaking changing our foreign policy and going back to isolationist. However, I understand that's no longer feasible, and it sucks because of the state and role we play in, and how we play this huge role that does not really mean anything, and we're world police. Why is it? And that to me ties into why we get off the freaking gold standard and everything, is because the amount of money we need to freaking have this our military and be on point about everything, and the spending we spend, there's not an amount of fucking gold in the world to spend what America spends. So that's why I think we left the gold standard, and now that's why the U.S. dollar is backed up by the military and by the military complex. So that's my belief on it. All right, so moving on. I know it's kind of boring night. Someone wants to jump on here and argue with me. I appreciate it. Now, check this shit out. And should I even go? Okay, this is kind of more veteran and Army related right now, people that are in. Let's do the peacetime thing first. Then we're jumping the Army policy for extremists. So, peacetime. You know, you have to always train. This is all I'm going to say about peacetime. We're not at peacetime. And I hate that saying that in the Marine Corps. I hear it a lot more in the Marine Corps. We're peacetime. We're peacetime. We're peacetime. Well, we're not. There's still war going on, and complacency kills. as a leader, when you start training your troops and you start freaking not training them the way that you want to be trained and the way that it's more beneficial for them to learn something, combat arms and stuff like that, because we're taking sharp classes, we're taking all these damn EEO, equal opportunity, and all these classes, and you're taking away from the purpose of what the military is. It sucks because the military is not, it's not a Fortune 500 company. And unfortunately, because of the freaking the dumbing down of Americans and the lack of freaking of having I say a mom and a father, because you need a mom as much as you need a father, but the lack of parenting, the lack of actually putting, you get in what you put in, and people are not getting in, they're not putting into their kids what they should be putting into, and you get what you get. So now it's a liability. The Army and the Armed Forces is a Fortune 500 company now. They do not want liability, and they do not want it at all. So now instead of training your troops, regardless of MOS, about combat, tactics, freaking remove the contact, react to contact, 9 lines, freaking how to know insider threats like that. You're not teaching them that. Instead, you're teaching them sharp. You're teaching them equal opportunity, stuff like that. And am I downplaying it, or am I? I'll be honest. Yeah, I am. It's why is it, as a leader, as an NCO, why am I freaking responsible for training your son not to be a piece of shit? That's your problem. That's the problem, the parent. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, yeah, we got to do it in everything. And yeah, I have a zero tolerance when it comes to sexual harassment or anything like that towards a female. Because first of all, it's not warranted. And why are you doing that kind of shit, man? It's fucked up. So I just, it's really frustrating. In order to change anything, and this goes, you can say about a slew of problems in the United States: gun violence, the problem in the black community, the problem in the Hispanic community, the problem with freaking poor. It's a cultural thing, and you have to change and it's hard to change somebody's mind and try to. It's easier to blame a system of things and blame something else than actually freaking take a step back and look at it and find out it's a cultural thing. It's the way you think. It's the way that this is going down. And yeah, unfortunately, the armed forces, actually, as of last year, you know what our armed branch had the most sexual assault cases was the Air Force. Believe it or not, look it up. The Air Force, with the whole thing that went down in freaking Fort Hood, it wasn't the Army, it wasn't the Marine Corps, it was the Air Force that has the most sexual harassment freaking cases reported. Actually, and that tripped me out when I read that. And so, what's the Air Force doing? And back in the day, it was a little different, because I know, you can get away with for anything. Back when I came in, these were felonies, and they were getting in. Which, yet again, I have no problem with anybody with a felony. If you did your time, you did the crime, it's good. You are now an American citizen. I think you should own a gun. I think you should be able to vote. I think you should be able to do whatever the hell you want, because you already paid your restitution to society. Welcome back. You fucked up. Come on back. See what we can get something going on for you, and we should be out there to help you. But our society doesn't think like that. So that goes back into that whole policy of Army. As an NCO and as a leader of Marines and or soldiers, airmen, I guess, and sailors, love the Navy. You should always try to kill complacency. Get your troops engaged, get them in conversations, make them feel that they can speak to you. That open door policy is bullshit. Where you say, I have an open door policy, come see me. No, I don't have an open door policy. First of all, because I have a fucking office, and I walk around and I mingle with my fucking troops, because I want to know what's going on with them. I want to know what they're going through. I want to know what their mindset is. I want to know what's going on in their lives. Even though we're fucking nasty ass reservists, you got to get out there and fucking talk to them. So that's a big thing when it comes to cultural and how the Army policy is, and just the lack of, not accountability, but the lack of just training, the lack of just teaching your soldiers, your Marines, what to look for, what to be specifically looking out there for. Next issue, which got me a stone thrown at me, was an email I got about freaking extremism in the armed forces. So I read it. I read like everything else in the armed forces. It was a good old time, because it had nothing but PowerPoint presentations, which is my point. And I'm looking at it, and I'm just, yeah, wow, man. The Kool-Aid's strong in this, and I understand why. It's pretty weird, man, when the government's actually scared about what's going on, and extremists and extreme this, and people are extremists, and people are this and that. Well, maybe if you weren't being tyrannic and being a shit for fucking brains government, and not doing what the people want, you wouldn't have this problem, and people would actually follow and not think about the horrible things and disagreeing with what you're doing out there. So that's That makes no sense to me. Why is it? Why can't we take accountability and know, hey, we have a problem as a nation. We need to address these issues. We need to freaking figure out how we can get back on track. And as our forefathers, shit, even as my grandfather's generation, the generation from the 40s, being everybody's business and the growing of the exponential growth of government. If you look at everything that we're going through right now, it's not a color issue. It's a poverty issue, obviously, because if it's your government. Your government and no one ever looks at how you get taxed. You get taxed to buy food. You get taxed to buy gas. You get taxed for everything. And think about it. What if you did not get taxed? What if you actually you held your finance, and then you have this thing? People, I love this argument. Well, who's going to pay for the roads? Who's going to pay for this? Who's going to pay for you? Cops? No, I don't. I have a lot of friends that are police officers. I respect what they do. I understand it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's a very complex issue with the problem with our society, mainly minorities dealing with police officers. I have no idea what to say about that. It's a complex issue that needs to get addressed first culturally by both parties, and then maybe some freaking dialogue can be freaking established, and then you can go from there. To me, the problem is it's government's too damn big, way too damn big. So let's get back into this cool slide. So it gives you the definition by AR 620, extreme organizations, racial, sex, including gender identity, sexual orientation, or ethnic hatred or intolerance. Okay, cool. Create or engage in illegal discrimination based on race. Well, don't be a fucking dick. That's simple. You shouldn't hate anybody because of race, color, or ethnicity or sexual orientation. That's just fucking ignorant. That's why aliens don't talk to us. All right, support for terrorist organizations or subjects. Okay, the word terrorism. I'm gonna take. What is a terrorist now? Back when I was coming up in the fucking world, terrorism was a Middle Eastern person that was freaking coming out to kill us and bomb us. That's what I was told. But apparently, if you add the word domestic in front of it, talk about the people here. So what really is a terrorist now? So I don't know. It's lost meaning like fascist and Nazi has lost meaning. Yeah, I've been called a fascist, even though I'm not even nowhere near socialism or freaking I got soft, like shit like that. Like cool, I'm a socialist. Yeah, I'm not. I'm more of leaning towards the freedom range of things. Express duty to engage in violence against DOD or United States DOD violence. Remember, violence is the means to freaking an end, and violence is only used when the freaking person that's trying to get a point of view cannot get that point of view across. And as our forefathers did. Hey, man, you were a dick at SOI. Yes, I was. Oh, shit. One of my former Marines is here. I got soft, bro. I got old, brother. All right, damages the U.S. Army brand and reputation of professional soldier. I hate professional Marine, professional soldier. The fuck you mean? It's not a Fortune 500 company. This is the goddamn military. Our purpose and sole purpose is to fucking fight wars. That's it. It's not a Fortune 500. Okay. And so basically the way I get these slides is it's basically just about the idea of and it's indoctrination if you really read through the lines in this stuff, and it's really telling you that the terminology being used by these people, radical process, how the process starts, pre-radical, appears normal, demonstrates Army values, gets along with others, no indicators, and then it goes down the slippery slope. Then radicalization appears dangerous, fat, full members, and extreme groups. Like fucking what? I'm a Lions Club member with freaking 5 members that are 90 years old. Participates in extreme activities. Yeah, fucking right. I don't even leave my house. Recruitment of others. Okay, stockpile of weapons and ammunition. Okay. Expresses extremist views. Yeah, extremist views in what sense? That you're tired of your government being oppressive. You're tired of freaking people being put down. You're tired of this huge entity that's just fucking everything up. And if you don't listen, you will pay with fines, or you'll be beaten or shot or killed. What the fuck, man? Like, this is ridiculous. Okay, ratification doctrine of 1 and 3. Buying guns is a bad thing now. Wow, the armed forces is even pushing that. The cool thing about this thing, I noticed a pretty biased thing. It's pretty fun. It's kind of goes after white folks, and I'm not saying If you look at the police killings and everything, more police are killed by white folks, and the reason for it's death by it's suicide by cop, and it's a mental health issue that no one's addressing. Please pull these up from the freaking FBI numbers and from the statistics that they're showing. So this is a thing, but there was a lot of white folks in this thing, the whole entire thing, and it has an old era indicators. You got the Black Panthers, which I understand why they were pissed off. Then you have these dudes standing next to a Nazi flag. They lost the war, bud. And then you got the bars and stars lost the war too. Then you got the American flag with a guy with the Klan fucking suit. And then current era indicates I don't see any Black Panthers. I don't see any like Raza, Hispanic gang, and nothing. I just see just white folks. So are white people really terrorists now, or what? I need more evidence. So they got the Proud Boys. I don't even know. I've heard about these guys. They're wearing black and yellow. Ooh, don't tell the Latin Kings this shit. Oath Keepers. So Oath Keepers are as a militant anti-government. So when you join the armed forces, you swear an oath to the Constitution. So I understand where these guys are coming from. Second Amendment, Oath Keepers organized, blah, 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 vigilante activities, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't know that much about them. Oh, my God. The thin blue line, they're making the Betsy Raw. Okay. Wow. The Boogaloo movement. The thing with all these radical groups and everything, the 3%ers, is that no fucking around coalition. Cool. Antifa. Oh, fuck, Antifa's in here. Nazis not welcome here. But Nazis were socialist. Anti-fascist. Oh, my God. I hate to break it to you guys. The first people that were fascists weren't the Nazis. That was actually by freaking the cool guy in Italy. He was the first one to coin the idea of fascismo. No step on snake. Up the New York. So summaries. In summary, extreme presence or a threat to the force. Southern California has the highest concentration of extreme groups hate activity in the country. I have yet to see any of these groups walk around or anything like that. All leaders, soldiers need to identify potential indicators of extreme, and then they're going to tell you to rat your CID or chain of command, rat people out. And again, so this is this a form of tyrannicness? You're investigating yourself. The 5W dotes remain calm. Look, man, I can see how I could be labeled an extremist because of my views. You know, I love my country, but I hate my government. And I think I have a right to, and I think everybody else does too, and just to voice their opinion about it. So then it goes back to censorship. So it's a very vicious cycle here. So now what do you do? You know, it's just really sad, man, that it's gone to this level. And honestly, all it is politics. It's a different regime. You have a Democrat in office, and of course, you know, they're doing, okay, Leon requests, Leon wants to go live. Fuck it, let's do this. Go live with Leon. Leon's a Marine vet too, Army too as well. Let's see, joined. It's not pulling up yet. All right, what's cracking, homie? You there? Your signal sucks. Can you hear me? No. Nope. Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. What's cracking, homie? Okay. Fucking doing homework. Oh, well, don't do your homework. So what's up? Not much. I was like, let me see what the fuck he's doing today. Yeah, talking about extremist issues and stuff like that, and what the craziness is going on in this country, but no one seems to care. So I'm obviously the one that's broken, you know. You're not broken, bro. You knew. Oh yeah. It was pretty crazy. What do you right? What do you think about that Army policy and all this stuff that they're shooting out now? What policy? With extremists and stuff like that. You know what, dude? Honestly, fuck them. I don't care what they do. I'm glad Biden is a president. People will get what they voted for. What do you mean by that? You mean more government?
Hey, that's what they wanted, bro.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that the whole election, I still don't believe he was.
You know what? Because the fucking orange man won it. So.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't believe Biden won that election. I don't even think Biden's in the right state of mind, to be honest. I haven't seen a State of a Union address. I haven't seen him really.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But
the media's protect him. I think he's got dementia.
Oh, I know.
And I think freaking what's her face is running this country, Harris, right now. But I'm just a paranoid freaking extremist. But yeah, I don't buy him. Yeah. Yeah, that dude had more screws loose than my grandma when she had the fucking dementia and died from it. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's just how did 2 million more people voted for Biden than Obama, and everybody loved Obama? I don't buy any of it, and
because he's white, bro.
They're both white. And we're being ran by another freaking tyrannic white man, a man that wanted state rights that actually were freaking backing up Jim Crow laws, yeah, I think, right? Yeah, Jim Crow laws. Sorry, my mind is kind of. I just want to go to bed. I just wanted to get on here and excuse me from my earlier behavior. You know what I mean? Reception sucks. Leon, can you hear me, bro? Huh?
Yeah. I can't.
What? Huh? Hey, Leon, you're breaking out, dude.
Here, let me type her.
All right.
There.
Oh, it's snowing over here. It's colder than shit. It's like 18 degrees.
Uh-oh.
Yep. All right, Leon.
Okay.
I'll freaking talk to you later. Then I'll give you a call tomorrow, brother.
Hey, bro. Stay safe.
You too, man.
Hey, I want to go see you. Hey, hold on.
Damn,
I want to go see you, bro. I got you something. I got you something.
Aww.
Big Papa. How you? Oh. You don't rate these.
No, I don't rate those. I love you, brother.
Hey,
Monday.
Let me know when the. Let me know, and I'll.
All right, brother. I'll let you know. All right.
All right, take care.
You too, man.
All
right, bye.
Love you.
Love you, man. Bye. All right. So that's all I really got for today. Unless anybody's got some questions or wants to come online with me or argue with me or something. I really didn't put a lot together. I kind of been really like, I don't know, man. I really don't like doing this shit anymore because it just, to me, it's pointless. It's a very little bit of people that are actually open-minded. I'm not saying agreeing with me because agreeing with me just, but I just want everybody to freaking understand things and just get to know that and to be cognitive of what's going on in our society and cognitive as a person and as an individual, knowing what horrible things are going on and everybody's okay with it. That's just madness to me. And I just really would like to reach out to people. You know, anybody out there want to chat real quick before I end this stream? I think the whole Taliban situation is going to go down. Taliban. Hold on. Well, the war in Afghanistan, I would hope would come to an end, but yeah, since they sent the Biden a message. First of all, I don't think Biden even knows where Afghanistan's at. His mind's probably that far gone already, unless they prop him up and the media figures it out for him and shit like that. But the war in Afghanistan should come to an end. That's a place where empires die. It's a money pit. And I really hope that they start to lower the fingerprint of the United States in the Middle East, that including especially Afghanistan. But will the Biden administration freaking learn? Probably not. You know, that's why Raytheon's making a bunch of money, and it's about government contracts, man. It's really sad when you would sacrifice your own countrymen to make some bucks. So that's where I'm at. The EPA doing harm on the racing culture. Your thoughts on the EPA going harm? Going okay. EPA racing culture. I hate to tell you guys. I know some of you guys are younger than me. You have these nice, fancy, freaking Mustangs. You have all this nice shit. I don't know, man. I really don't. I feel for you guys because I'm a muscle car guy and I don't have that problem. And E85 to me is the race car future because gasoline's gonna be so fucking expensive. What up, dog?
It's all good. So work. Fucking finishing up finally.
Yeah. So what's going on, man?
Yeah, no, that's what getting you like say fucking say, give me my 2 cents. You know,
Please.
I work this 2 cents.
Please, no, please.
It's
Let me hear it.
Extremism. If I say some shit.
Let me hear it. X gonna give it to you. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, honestly, it's just how I see it. It's meant to be continuous. It's not really meant to have an end. It's meant to be continuous.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep on wasting our fucking money. We're gonna get to a point they're just gonna have us by the balls. We're like, you guys are gonna get the fuck out, or we're gonna just team up with China and whoever the fucking Russia and just fucking bombs away, take you guys off the map.
Yeah. That's the next threat. Apparently.
That's really. No, honestly, as you said, though, Biden, you're right about Biden. Like, it's definitely a Kamala Harris because he's. You heard how much he fucking stutters? Do you hear how much that guy fucking stutters? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, then people will say that our supporters, he's been doing that ever since he's been in office, but no, he hasn't.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Watch.
He's been on a sick one, honestly. He's been on a fucking sick one.
Yeah, I'm not buying any of it.
And he sniffs fucking children. Like, I don't get that. He sniffs fucking children. Like, why is he out of everyone? Honestly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all the shit doesn't really make no sense to me because, like, oh hey, here's my stimulus check. The best I can do is fucking bomb Syria. That's the best I can do.
Well, yeah, they
stimulus check, re-elect Trump. You know?
Yeah, well, they finally passed it, but yet again, dude, it's abandoned. Instead of passing it, they should just open up this fucking country up, you know?
Yeah, I know. I got news did say theaters and amusement parks, movie theaters, and amusement parks will open back up soon. So hopefully, hopefully it happens sooner than later.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit on Bullshit Island. But yeah, I agree with you. I still don't think that. I think he's gonna. There's no the reason why he isn't the State of the Union address is because he probably can't. Mentally, he can't do it.
Yeah, so I was gonna get up here and say, like, yeah, he's good. He's gonna get all over the place. Honestly, I'm surprised he actually made it this far. Like, it's really astonishing.
Yeah,
how low we've gone.
Yeah, hey, it's a Democratic Party, bro. People in power want to stay in power. They'll do anything they can to stay in power. That's all it is.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
honestly, that's how I see it. I mean, like, oh. Not why this is gonna sound fucked up and extremist according to the new army put the shit army put out. But how I see it, like the whole because obviously I'm sure you knew, but how Obama had like the most votes, like younger teens,
yeah,
people my age, like 20s and 30s and shit. Not like the only reason how I see that the only reason he actually became president is because he was black. Also because like, oh, finally some diversity. Some this, some that. He's black. Let's vote him. That's honestly the only, like the main reason.
Yeah,
he was elected. That's not the only reason. To be honest,
I bought into that too. I thought he was going to bring change, and honestly, I did vote for Obama the first term. I hate to admit it, but I did. Yeah. And then when I learned, as soon as he came in office, he bailed out all those big banks. He bailed out GMC. He bailed out all these people that, yeah. So where's my fucking bailout? I didn't get one. And then just as he got into more wars, got rid of Gaddafi. Sorry, you know how I am, bro. You know, my thing about the Middle East, man. I've been out there, man. I was seeing a girl from the Middle East and shit. And I went with the Syrian. It's a lot different when you actually stop being ignorant and actually talk to people out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot different.
They're like, oh, government this, government that. It's like government's been fucking us up, been fucking the Middle East and the world up for ages now. So it's nothing new.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, man. Iraq was by the British, and a lot of after the British Empire collapsed, yeah.
Iraq. Oh, hey. Yeah. You definitely was, but Iraq was at its best time once Saddam was the president. It's still because he improved infrastructure. College was free when he was in there. Everything was way better than it's fucking now. It's garbage now.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it really does make sense. Honestly, we have to go in there, just put our hand in it. But can't we got caught for hand in cookie jars like, oh, Iraq's bad now. You know, we're fixing it. WMDs, where's those fucking go?
Yeah.
God knows.
Yeah, I hate to say, yeah, the Iraqi people like a totalitarian government, and they like to be controlled. You know, that's why Saddam did so well over there. You know. Yeah, it sucks, dude. It's depressing.
Yeah, Iraq was up there. They're one of the best countries to live in during Saddam's time. It was known that Iraq is one of the safest, the cleanest, best countries to live. He improved everything. I was like, nah, you know what? Fuck you, Saddam. You're not an American puppet. So we got. Sorry, bud. We gotta put you down.
Yeah, Saddam and Gaddafi.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not really sure about Gaddafi. I never really, because I wasn't old enough. I was born 2000, so I'm not that young. But like, still, I didn't really keep up with much of Gaddafi's stuff. So yeah. So what was up there? Because I know he was in there for like 40 years.
Yeah. Well, Gaddafi took over freaking Libya with a bloodless coup. He was a captain at the time, became Colonel Gaddafi after that.
Yeah.
Gaddafi wanted to make a not a Muslim. I hate saying it because it wasn't a Muslim. He wanted to make an Arabic union, and unfortunately, a lot of the Arabic countries didn't like that. So then he decided to make an African union, and that's kind of the reason why he was ousted, because he wanted to do what the UE did, but in Africa. And he put his money where his mouth was. Because of him, they had cell phones and cell towers, Africom, all that. Paid a lot for Africa, man, a lot financially, and they ousted him. And Libya was a very nice place to live until, of course, we came and gave them some freedom, and now it's a shithole country, you know.
Yeah, of course. Because I know he was. He was. Yeah, that's like I really never like knew what he did. The most I know is that he was there for 40 years, and that's about it. Honestly, I never really kept up with any of his stuff.
Yeah, there's an awesome YouTube video called Gaddafi: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and it breaks it down from a very unbiased about the positive things and the negative things about Gaddafi. And it taught me a lot about him. You know, I've read his Green Book, and you know, I was an avid follower of her and reading about Gaddafi and just why the United States really hated him, and really was it just? And turns out it really wasn't just.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, fuck it, man. You got anything else for me, brother?
That's about it. Just want to come up here, got my little soapbox, you know.
Hell yeah.
Much, honestly.
All right, brother. I'll fucking see you this weekend, dog. All right, man.
Sounds good.
Peace. Nice speaking to you too.
Good night.
Alawi. Bye, man.
Salam.
Salam. All right. You got anybody else before I fucking go back to hit the rack? Well, hit the rack. We'll just drink some more. I'm actually going to read more of my book, and that's it. But yeah, that's basically a nutshell. The person that was on here is of Syrian descent. Him and I talk a lot about it. I try to speak Arabic to him because my Arabic sucks. So he was born out there, so it's pretty cool to get an opinion of somebody that was actually from the Middle East and what has happened in this world. So before I go out, any questions, anything at all that I want to ask the drunk shepherd, false shepherd? I need a co-host, man. I need someone to help me with this mission. My guy's out and deployed right now. I got nothing going on. I need preferably anybody that can freaking argue with me, or somebody that disagrees with me. It's even better. So I can get another perspective on here, you know, from more of a liberal side, or more of a pro-government or pro-establishment side. That's fine too as well, because hey, you got to have that too, man. You just can't have a bunch of people that just agree with you all the time. You'd be a bunch of yes men. Then you have the Trump administration. Anything at all? That's really it. All right, fucking stay tuned. Please DM me for freaking subjects you guys want me to talk to, or research things that you want me to specifically hit. I'm gonna try to get more freaking foundation to this and not just jump all over the place. Again, been busy, man. I'm getting ready to leave again. It's been cold out here, so it's been limiting me from doing anything I want to do outside and work on my yard or working on the thing I love the most, my calves. But that's basically it. Going once, desperate. Going twice. All right, and I still there's a podcast I did a long time ago. It was about relationships that I want to put out there. Put a lot of my dirty laundries out there. So if you're one of my exes, you should watch that because it explains a lot about why I was a piece of shit. So I love disagreeing with everyone. Let me know next time. Oh yeah, dude, if you want to jump in right now, bro, let's do this. But yeah, it's a pretty good freaking podcast. It's so fucking long. It's like an hour and a half. So we having problems of uploading it, but I really want to get it up there. Well, if anything else, all right. Well, it's fucking drunk shepherd, and I'm signing off. And hey, remember, folks, who killed Jesus? The state did. All right, you guys have a good night. I mean, now, okay.